On the night of September 19, 1961, a couple drove home through the White Mountains of New Hampshire. What began as an ordinary drive became the most credible alien abduction account in American history. They would arrive home 2 hours late, with no memory of what happened in between. Betty and Barney Hill were returning from a holiday in Montreal. Barney worked for the Postal Service, Betty was a social worker. They were rational, educated, respected in their community. As they drove south near Lincoln, Betty noticed something moving above the tree line. It was not a star. It was not a plane. The object descended lower, moving with intelligence and purpose. It hung above the road ahead, a pancake-shaped craft studded with windows, emitting a brilliant, pulsing light. Betty begged Barney to stop. He pulled over. Barney stepped out of the car. The light intensified. Betty watched in horror as her husband stood frozen, unable to move, as if held by some invisible force. Then paralysis gripped her own body. The light grew brighter. And then, nothing. 2 hours vanished from their memory. They came to themselves driving south, near Ashland. Betty's dress was torn. Both wore strange marks on their skin, not burns, but peculiar, symmetrical patterns. Neither could explain the missing hours. That night, Betty's hands began to itch. The marks grew more vivid. Sleep would not come. Over the following weeks, Betty and Barney suffered night terrors. Betty's dreams were vivid, specific, and horrifying, images of a spacecraft interior, of small gray figures with enormous eyes, of a needle inserted into her navel. The dreams felt less like imagination and more like memory. In 1964, desperate for answers, they underwent hypnotic regression with Dr. Benjamin Simon, a Boston psychiatrist. Under hypnosis, their accounts aligned perfectly, despite having never discussed the details. They described the interior of the craft, the beings, the examination. The physical marks remained unexplained. Dr. Simon found no evidence of lying or fabrication. The case reached the University of New Hampshire, then the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomena. Scientists could not explain the missing time, the identical hypnotic accounts, or the marks. The Hills had become witnesses to something science had no framework to accept. Betty and Barney Hill lived with their experience for the rest of their lives. They never recanted. They never profited from their account. They simply lived as witnesses to something that should not exist, but did. If not aliens, then what? What took two ordinary people from a car on a New Hampshire road and left them changed forever? The Betty and Barney Hill case opened a door in American consciousness that has never closed. Thousands of abduction accounts followed, all echoing the same details, the same terror, the same inexplicable loss of time. Do you believe what you just witnessed? If not, tell us why in the comments below. And if this story sent a chill through you, like and subscribe to WT Historical. There are darker mysteries still to come.